The history of aviation began a long time ago, ironically right before the First World War, which would provide a new element on the battlefield. Only 10 years before conflicts arose, two men, brothers, Orville and Wilbur Wright, designed and created a machine that would astonish the people, including other countries and their militaries. In their famous first flight at Kitty Hawk, they did not only test their invention for the first time, but they demonstrated it to the public. Taking a great leap, they succeeded, and flew for over 1 minute, and amazed the crowd that had gathered. They thought world would travel, but not nearly as quick. Within a few years, many countries were establishing their first air forces, including Britain, Russia, and even the future enemy, Germany. Countries are in a race to improve the new idea. They added a cockpit and more powerful engines to create longer flights and increase speed. Eventually they had their planes ready for action. Now they needed the pilots to fly them. One ads appeared to recruit trainees. Most people took the position just to fly the new invention their friends talked about and what they saw in the paper. Eventually the countries had their air forces and were ready to fly. For the first few months of the war, the skies were peaceful. Planes were used primarily as scouts, to find and report enemy positions. Even as they passed in the air, enemy pilots would smile and perhaps wave at the other. Maybe they would see who could do the best trick. There was no hatred, just peace. That was before the universal thought that planes could be used for much more. Militaries began to arm their planes, at first with rifles and pistols, then with machine guns attached to the rear. This brought us upon the infamous dogfights of World War I. Synchronized machine guns were added to the front of the plane. The reason they could shoot through the blurred propellers is because it was powered by the engine, and was allowed only to hit the trigger button at certain moments in the propeller's turn, which allowed all bullets to pass through, and quickly eliminate the enemy plane. This also defined the dogfights in the war. In Germany, more than just planes arose to the sky above. Balloons, packed with a lighter-than-air gas called hydrogen, became portable surveillance beacons and sniper towers. Although extraordinarily designed, these large balloons were easy targets for the Allies' planes. Unfortunately for Germany, hydrogen is a very flammable gas, and since the other alternative, helium, was in short supply, the balloons would burn to the ground. Another airship, the Zeppelin, arose to fight for the fatherland, and was armed with machine guns and bombs. The bombs were especially frightening, most due to the fact that London was bombed by a Zeppelin, and which inspired this one tag. Setting a milestone in the war was British Moran Saunders and his co-pilot Leon, who were the first to take down a Zeppelin by plane. By shooting the engine and causing it to explode, the hydrogen-filled beast burned to ashes. People also learned that planes can be just as deadly as the Zeppelins. Bombers, also called vultures during the war, were among the worst things to see flying above. Directed by the co-pilot, they were released from the underbelly of the plane to wreak havoc on the ground below. Some said bombers could win the war, which is probably why the war ended, only 8 months after its invention. It was said that their destructive nature brought peace and happiness thereon.